I'm really proud of people who want to contribute not just their time and volunteering, but their money to our politics. It is a noble pursuit, just like giving to charity. And we.
This is Wes Streeting hilariously defending all the cronyism and big donations from Lord Ali and whoever else that have been going to the Labour Party. All this free gear Keir, we're now calling Keir Starmer. He is suggesting that giving Keir Starmer, for example, these super expensive fancy boxes at football matches, Taylor Swift tickets, extremely expensive glasses, designer clothes, that this is the equivalent of giving to charity. So giving Keir Starmer a fancy box at a football match is like saving dying children in Africa by giving money to a charity that buys them a bunch of mosquito nets that saves their lives. I'm not quite getting the parallel, Wes Streeting. No one's buying it.
Don't recognise that enough. The alternative is we ask taxpayers to fund our politics. I think they'd rather their taxes went into the NHS and our schools or stayed in their own pockets.
It's going to a Taylor Swift concert, a noble cause.
I'm sure Keir will shake it off. But let me say, Nick, I'm absolutely delighted in the BBC's newfound conviction that no one should be paid more than the Prime Minister, that they shouldn't give or receive hospitality, and will judge the performance on the social media mentions.
Pretty embarrassing. I mean, we have seen media clip after media clip after media clip from the conference of Labour politicians just making the most pathetic excuses for this scandal. I mean, we've seen Bridget Phillipson doing a million media rounds talking about Lord Ali, defending him as a, extremely kind guy who was just donating to a work event and not a birthday party. We've had Angela Rayner defending her stay in his huge fancy apartment in New York. And now this. I mean, this is probably the most pathetic of them I've seen, comparing it to giving to charity. And then he makes the excuse, you know what, the alternative to this is that the taxpayers have to pay for it. And I think people would rather keep their money in their own pockets. Would have been a good argument if the money you were being donated was being spent on things that are essential, rather than putting you guys in fancy designer clothes and putting Keir Starmer in an £8,000 box at football matches. Okay? That doesn't need to be paid for by the taxpayer if Lord Ali or whoever doesn't give it to you. Because guess what? You actually don't need it. You guys are the ones that claim that you are the party of the working class. But you don't seem very working class to me if you think that having glasses that cost thousands of pounds, designer clothes, fancy elite boxes at football matches rather than sitting in the crowd like, the rest of us plebs have to. If you think that it's normal to need all of those things, I'm sorry, but you're not working class. You are just elites. You can't claim to be different from the Tories that you pointed at for years and years and accused of sleaze. And it's not just Wes Streeting saying really stupid stuff at conference, because we've now got Keir Sausages Starmer, who has called the hostages the sausages.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages, and a recommitment to the two-state solution.
I mean, how embarrassing. And just going back to Wes Streeting before we end this video. So I was looking, and turns out, it's not just Lord Ali that's in the equation. He received 175k from donors linked to private health firms. And it made me think, gosh, I was so surprised at how desperate he is to start rejuvenating the NHS and changing it and privatising elements, saying he vows to go further than Blair on NHS privatisation. Now, some people have looked at this headline and saying, he's going to destroy the NHS because he got all this money, it's all just cronyism. And I'm not against the policy of bringing in some privatisation in the NHS and restructuring it. I think that is absolutely fantastic if he does do that, and I think that Labour are the only ones that can get away with it, because the Tories can never get away with touching the NHS because everyone calls them too evil if they do so. But I don't think this is a good look. The fact that it seems like his policies may be motivated by donors. 175k extra in your pocket, that's quite nice money, I have to say. What are you going to buy with that? Some more designer clothes? some more Taylor Swift tickets, I don't know, but he's going to rather treat himself, and I'm sure that the donors that have given him this money are going to want something in return, i.e. some policies implemented in return. This is corruption. This is cronyism. Okay, I know there are always going to be some donors, and there are going to be people that want a little bit in return for what they've done. I'm not saying that donors shouldn't exist at all. You know, they keep political parties going. But I think what is clear is that Labour are just as corrupt as the rest of them. They're not special. They're not the party of the working class. They're not the party of change. They're not the ones changing politics and working for you. It's just a load of bullshit. Don't buy it. And I don't think anyone's buying it. Labour have had their honeymoon, if there was one at all. Maybe it lasted a couple of days and it's over, and people can see them exactly for who they are now. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Make sure you subscribe to The Reason YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next one.